Well, good morning. 2:15, just after 2:15. Um, so it's now Thursday, but I was, trying to do these on Sunday or Monday, but truth is, I wasn't really feeling very good, so I decided to wait. So here I am, right? I'm drinking a little bit of this. It's called Final Run. It is from Art of the Spirits. It was given to me a couple years ago to me and my wife by Richard from Art of the Spirits, and it's a straight bourbon finished in Colombian rum barrels, 128 proof. So I'm drinking this with just a touch of water. So, Art of the Spirits is a small business. Um, Black Bear Distillery is a small business, and I've worked for quite a few small businesses over the years. So, I wanted to talk about something kind of specific that relates to everyone, all businesses, but small businesses, especially in small towns, um, have a tendency to deal with this a little bit more, right? So the idea of opening a business means you have to start worrying about customers. Now, I'm not going to say that this precise topic works or covers things like t-shirt shops or things like that. This is really more geared at restaurants and bars, distilleries, wineries, breweries, those kind of things. Because when it comes to shops, it's a little bit different, right? You don't need regulars. That's not a necessity. But for those other businesses, like restaurants and stuff, we need those. Restaurants and bars, they need regulars, they need new customers, right? So this video is about new customers versus regular, um, and kind of the benefits and disadvantages to both. So it's a pro and con list, right? So I'm gonna give some points out. I have a board, right? It's official. So I'm gonna give points based on a couple of things, and I'm gonna try to keep this relatively short. This is the kind of topic that could go on and on and on and on and on, right? So I'm going to try to not go on and on and on and on and on. So let's start with new customers, because that's where you start with any business. You need new customers. That's how you build your business, right? And that is the first pro that I'm going to give to the new customer category, right? They build your business. You need them. They want your products. They may not know it yet, but they do. At some point, they're going to want your products. So you have to be able to give it to them. Sorry, my marker is not working. No. There we go. So they want to give you business. They may not know why, but they're going to visit, right? Because that's what people do. They go check out new things. When it comes to bars, restaurants, and distilleries, and wineries, and all that, people just go in. It looks interesting, so we're going to go in, right? But that's how you build your business. You need those people to just show up and say, I'm going in. That's cool. That's a good thing. Because that's what new customers are, that means that their second pro is that they're open-minded. They don't know what you have until they walk in, unless you're, very, very specific about what you have on the front door. So they don't know. So they're walking in, they're cool. They're open minded, they'll listen to basically whatever you need to tell them, give or take. And they're usually pretty open to suggestions and to ideas and to whatever it is you're doing. When it comes to distilleries, this is kind of specific, but I think it counts. New customers, don't always know what to expect. Even if they've been to other distilleries or wineries or breweries, they don't always know. And in general, liquor, alcohol, beer, all that stuff is kind of social. That's the point, is spending time with others. So if a guy wants to check out a distillery and he's going to bring his wife, they're likely to bring another couple or a friend or a family member or whatever. So new customers do, in distilleries and breweries and stuff, have a tendency to bring others with them. And I think that's a that's a pro. That's a good thing. Bringing new people is always a good thing. So new customers bring new customers as well. Typically a new customer genuinely interested in your specific products, why they're different, why you're special, whatever. They tend to be interested, so they will listen. You can tell them all the stuff they need to know. And then they'll pass it on to somebody, which is cool. They also have the potential to become regulars, right? And we're going to come back to regulars in a minute, but a new customer always has the potential to become a regular customer and to keep coming back, right? Now, a new customer typically comes in once or twice and you never see them again. That's fine. But sometimes they turn into a regular customer, which is awesome. I have several examples of that. New customer comes in and I may not see them for 6 months, but they come back and they come back again in 6 months and so on and so forth, right? They were a new customer. They just happened to show up and they loved it. So now they're a regular, albeit a sporadic regular. They're a regular. Now, on the con side of things, I would say number one is sometimes they don't come back. Sometimes they come that one time or 2 times and you never see them again. It's the nature of food service and beverage service. Show up once, they never come back. Is that a problem? No. Those customers are necessary just like regulars would be. But they do sometimes only visit one time. And sometimes new customers have no idea. So second con would be that they have no knowledge, right? Sometimes they have no clue what you do. Now, a lot of times we like to think that the big sign that says distillery on the side of the building gives it away. However, that's not the case. When you see that sign that says distillery, you may know what it means. You may know this place makes spirits. This place makes hard liquor. They don't make beer. But not everybody knows that. A surprising number of people walk in when we're open and ask for beer or wine or mead. And we don't make those things with our license. We're not allowed to serve them. So we serve what we make, and that's it. So if a customer has no idea what we make, they don't know what that big sign means, that can be that can mean just a little more time has to be spent with that customer, getting them informed before they can make a decision on sometimes whether they're going to stay or not, and sometimes what they're going to order. We have had people come in and ask for beer. We don't make beer. We don't sell beer, and they leave. That's not even a new customer, right? So it does happen fairly regularly. I wouldn't say often, but fairly regularly, like once a month. So that's a con. You may never serve that person because you don't have beer, right? So that's a con. Also, I would say another con would be they can be difficult to serve because they're unaware, because they're new, because they've never been there before. They may walk in, look at your menu, and nothing but questions. And that doesn't mean they're a bad customer. It just means, again, a lot more time has to be spent because you have to explain more stuff on the menu. That's a con. I'm not saying they're bad people. Okay, it's just is a thing that exists. You have to deal with that part of it. But it is a negative. If you're busy, that can be a real negative. When it comes to the score at the moment, new customers, 5 pros, 3 cons. Not a bad start, right? But let's talk about regulars. Regulars are necessary. I will say that, and especially in a small town. A lot of small town businesses close in the wintertime. Some rely on those local regulars to fill in the gaps and to keep the income coming in. Excuse me. So regulars are necessary. So the first thing I would say, first pro I would give them, is that they are a steady business. New customers can be hit or miss. You never know what's going to happen when it's a new customer situation. They may not come. They may show up. You may have a full house. You may have an empty house. When it comes to regulars, they're pretty steady. You can kind of assume that they're going to be there, and keep you going, right? So that's a pro. Another pro is they're reliable. Now they're steady business. They're reliable. Sounds very similar, and it is. But when I say reliable, what I mean is more about when they show up, right? So steady means they're going to show up, right? Steady means they're your customers. You can kind of count on them in a lot of ways. But reliable customers, reliable business, you can kind of gauge every week or month or whatever how much of your business is going to be from them. So it's reliable, right? We have some customers that I know once a week they're going to be there and they're going to buy X number of cocktails or a bottle or two or whatever. It's reliable business. So it's not just that they keep coming, it's that they are reliably buying similar amounts of things. Now, also a pro for regulars, just like new customers, they bring people. They bring new customers. Sometimes it's a family member, sometimes it's a friend, a neighbor, whatever. They bring other people to you, which is, excuse me, not a bad thing. Because because that person they bring may, after they're a new customer, become a regular themselves, right? So that's a good thing. Because they're more reliable and more steady, that means regulars are also easier when it comes to customer care. So they, you know, for example, maybe they always order an old fashioned. When they walk in, whoever's behind the bar can make their old fashioned for them and not have to waste as much time taking an order because they already know. Sometimes they change, but a lot of people stick with their go-to or whatever, right? And because they're regulars, and especially in small towns, they're locals, you know them better, which means they tend to be more friendly. That's a plus, especially for your wait staff, right? Your servers love people who are friendly. Because it makes life easier, right? Now, on the con side of things, with regulars, they can have a tendency to affect the operation of the business. And that is not necessarily helpful. And what I mean by that is they might cause you to change an operational schedule or the way you do something or who is on staff at any given moment. Maybe they don't like a certain server, so hey, we know this customer is going to be there that day, so that server, in our case, one server usually in the tasting room, well, they don't like that server, so we can't have them. I'm not saying we would do that, because we wouldn't, but some businesses might change who's on schedule based on regulars coming to eat or hang out. And sometimes it's bigger than that. It's usually bigger than that. I mean, like adding a day of operation that you wouldn't normally add because regulars were asking for it, right? Is it nice to do that for your regulars? Sure, but now they've added a day of operation that you wouldn't normally be open, and if they show up, that's great, but what if they don't? What if they asked you for that, but then they never show up? That means you're open for no reason, right? You're paying somebody to be there to work the bar, you're paying servers, you're operating the building, and no one's there. So they've affected the operation of the business just because they're regulars, right? That's a bad thing. I call that a con. I think that's a bad thing. Another thing is regulars can build a sense of entitlement. They think that it's their bar or it's their restaurant. This is the breakfast counter that we eat at and that we have our coffee at every morning, and therefore these are our seats, right? This is our table, and this is my bar stool. So if someone else is sitting there, they're going to have a problem. They're going to complain. It's not everyone, but quite a few regulars have a tendency to do that. Well, they're sitting at my table. It's not your table. It's everybody's table, and they got here first, right? We don't operate on a reservation basis, so maybe we don't reserve tables, right? That's a scenario that I've experienced. And I don't know. If you own the business or you operate the business, that's up to you if you want to kick somebody off a table because a regular wants their table, right? That's up to you. But I don't see that as particularly good customer service. It is for the regular, but it's not for the other people. And maybe the other person, maybe the people at that table are also regulars. So now you have to decide: are you picking one regular over another? Probably a good idea to not do that. So that's a con. They feel like this is my place, so I should be able to sit in my seat all the time. Well, maybe not. Can't control that. Another con, which I have definitely experienced, is they're less open-minded. Newcomers are pretty open-minded. They don't know what to expect anyway. But regulars are less likely to, in most cases, to try your new products or to try new items on the menu. They want the thing that they always get, and even if it's not available anymore, they're going to ask you for it. So it's another moment where you have to decide: do I give them something that we don't offer anymore, or do I force them to choose from what we do offer now? The other idea, the other thing I mentioned, which is they might not try new products. That's a very, brewery, distillery, winery kind of thing. You come out with a brand new product and you're trying to promote it, and the regular customers won't try it. That can be kind of discouraging, because you're hoping that everybody tries it and they choose not to. Now, you can't force people to try stuff, but it does have an effect on the business. If somebody else in the tasting room who's newer sees a regular not order the new thing, they might take that as a sign to not order the new thing themselves. Not 100% of the time, but I have seen it happen. And the other side of that is you put a whole lot of work into building a menu, building a product line, putting things together, figuring out how to make stuff and do things. And the people who are supposedly the most supportive of your business don't support it, and don't even acknowledge it. That can be a huge blow to the I don't want to say ego, but to the mood of the business. It can certainly affect how the people working there view those regulars. It can definitely change how waiters, servers, bartenders, whoever view that particular group of regulars. Like, you don't try the new stuff, but we worked hard on that stuff, right? That's kind of where things can reach a bit of an impasse. Like, now, why are you actually here? And it's none of your business. As the server or the GM or whatever, it's none of your business. But that is kind of the feeling that you have. Like, okay, so what do we do this for? And that's a valid question. If the regulars don't keep an open mind about your products, then what's the point? And that's a sad thought, but it does happen. Another con for them is that they are stuck in a lot of ways, right? And I mean, they are set in their ways. They want that one thing that they always order. Well, it's not available anymore. It is just like being less open-minded. It is just being stuck in that way. Well, what if that's not available anymore? That's a very likely possibility in a brewery or a winery or a distillery. That product just may not exist anymore. And what do you do with the customer who says, well, that's what I want? Well, that doesn't exist. That's happened to us for sure. So that's just 4 things that are cons for the regulars and 5 pros. Well, so I would also note that sometimes for newcomers, you're a destination. Like they came to you on purpose. So that might be a bonus point. I'm not sure how you would want to count that, but here's what I have, right? I have pros, they're tied at 5. Let's see if I can get that visible. Tied at 5. Regulars have 4 cons, new customers have 3 cons. Pretty even. But I would say new customers win a little bit. They clearly, this is not across the board 100%. Every restaurant, bar, distillery, winery, brewery, across the board, everywhere, that's not what this is. These are things that I've seen, my experiences, and maybe you're a small bar owner somewhere and you don't agree. That's cool. That's fine. This is something that I've seen. This is just based on my experiences with regulars and new customers, and just kind of something to throw out at people who are thinking of opening a business. It's not, don't use this as your basis, but keep these things in mind when you open whatever you open, because it is a necessary thing. You need new customers, you need regulars. You just have to find a way to balance them, and keep both effective. So that's all this was. Don't go out and tell everybody that I hate regulars or new customers, because I need both. But what I would say is, have yourself a really good day, good week. I hope everybody's feeling good. I know a ton of people are sick, so I hope if you were one of those people that you're feeling better. And I'll talk to you in the near future. So cheers.